Now, Hungary is challenging a decision by the European Union to ban all gas imports from Russia. Slovakia, which is also dependent on Russian energy, is likewise considering legal action. Now, this all comes after the European Parliament voted to halt the import of Russian gas by the end of 2027. Now, the ban will be gradually phased in before coming into full force. EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen said the European Union is at the dawn of a new era of energy independence from Russia.
Thank you very much.
Let's break this down with Dan Jørgensen. He serves as European Commissioner for Energy and Housing. Welcome to DW, sir. It's great to have you on the programme. You know, many people will be asking why it's taken the EU 4 years since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine to reach this agreement. So why has it taken so long?
Well, first of all, it's not as if nothing has happened. When the full-scale invasion happened, we got 45% of our gas from Russia. Today, we get just over 10%, so there has been a reduction. Having said that, I am actually one of the voices who've been quite critical in my former job when I was Minister of Energy in Denmark. I also argued that we needed a ban. The reason why that hasn't been possible earlier is that normally when introducing measures like this, it's via sanctions, and sanctions can only be adopted with unanimity, and there are, as you probably know, 2 countries that do not support this. So now we've invented a new measure. We've never done it before. It's unprecedented, where we use trade legislation to prohibit the import of gas. So it is something that is a completely new step, but it is something that we consider extremely necessary.
Can you give us a sense of how much gas is being imported from Russia and what you hope to achieve with this ban?
Yeah, so even though we have reduced our import from Russia quite significantly, from around 45% of our consumption to just over 10%, it's still quite a lot. It actually means that the European Union are sending, not the European Union as such, but customers in the European Union are sending more than 1 billion euros to Russia every month. That is, of course, 100% unacceptable, because that means that we are indirectly helping to finance Putin's war. On top of that, obviously, it's not a good thing to be dependent on anybody with regards to energy, because energy is at the core of our security. But when that country that we're dependent on is also our enemy, then of course the situation is even more serious. And that is why this agreement that was made last night, very late, that's why I'm a bit tired now, between the Parliament and the Council, building on the proposal made by the European Commission, is so important.
There's a problem, though, isn't there? Because Hungary says it's going to challenge the ban in court. These things are never straightforward. How worried are you by that?
So we have a watertight, also legally, proposal that has now been adopted. This is a prohibition. It means also that companies that might have long-term contracts will not be held responsible for that. It's force majeure for those companies. So legally speaking, I'm not worried at all. What I will say, though, is that I regret the fact that not all countries in Europe support this legislation, because I think it's important that we stand side by side in our defense of Ukraine and in our opposition to Russia.
Do you see this potentially leading to imports of more expensive gas from the US, with Europeans facing a higher cost of living?
So we're well prepared for this, and what we will do to limit the risks of price increases is that first and foremost we use less gas. So we have become far more energy efficient, and we have transitioned away from gas by electrifying more processes, by using more renewables. All in all, we are reducing quite significantly every year our gas consumption. But we do still need gas, and instead of importing it from Russia, we will diversify and import more from the US, from Canada, from Romania that will also produce more, and other sources around the planet.
Can I also ask you about Russian oil? Because, of course, large sums are still feeding Putin's wartime economy, aren't they?
Well, oil imports has actually been prohibited via sanctions for a while, but two countries have exceptions, Hungary and Slovakia, and we are now telling those two countries that that will also end, and I will put forward on behalf of the Commission early next year a legislative proposal that will make sure that this happens.
Dan Jørgensen, European Commissioner for Energy and Housing, thank you so much for your time today.